You have just downloaded the BBQ Central Show, which airs live every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The BBQ Central Show is brought to you by the BBQ Guru, creators of automatic pit temperature control technology. They can be found at thebbqguru.com or call them 800-288-GURU. And by the Chops Power Injector System, the 2015 Barbecue Tool of the Year at the NBBQA. Find them at barbecuekansascity.com. And by Butcher Barbecue. From injections to rubs to sauces, always trust your butcher at butcherbbq.com. And by Big Poppa Smokers, your one-stop online shop for everything and anything that has to do with barbecue. Their website is bigpoppasmokers.com. And by Cook Shack Pellet and Electric Grills. Visit them at pelletcooker.com or cookshack.com or call them 800-423-0698. And by Cookin' Pellets, you can buy Cookin' Pellets at cookinpellets.com. You can also visit amazon.com to purchase as well. And by Green Mountain Grills, some of the best pellet grills on the market today. You can visit them at greenmountaingrills.com.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Ooh. Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big BBQ Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. You want to jump in on the show tonight? More than happy to have you. It's a phone call, 216-220-0966. You can also email, if you would prefer, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening, because nobody got the newsletter! Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, normally, it's this guy, right? Normally, it's the guy who coined the phrase succulent, Stephen Reichel. It's not Stephen Reichel today.
Get that free stuff out of here.
Not oversharing any information that I may or may not know. He had to bow out tonight well in advance, so plenty of room to fill. Note to other guests who have booked with me or are recurring guests. Oh, man, Steven gave me like 5 days advance notice. We tried to pre-record some stuff. It just wasn't going to work out. But, you know, from my perspective, I appreciate being able to chase Phil. And I got a great one, a guy that I was actually going to use for a barbecue roundup last week. And instead, he is going to fill in tonight, winning now his 8th Grand Championship down in Texas, qualifying for the Jack actually last week. The pitmaster of Rio Valley Meats Company barbecue team, Fred Robles, will join us. We'll get a little Texas talk in with Fred. He's doing very well, leading the IBCA points race. Then at 9:35, he is a loyal Centralite. He is a competition barbecue cook. However, in the day, he is saving the general public on transportation, on car maintenance, on trailer maintenance. I don't know if there's ever been a show, ever, in the barbecue world that has dealt strictly with trailer maintenance. I think we all know, one of the many reasons I don't compete is the fact that I don't feel like shucking out $20,000 or $120,000 on a 40 or 80-foot trailer, amongst all the other accoutrements that one feels like they might need in order to be successful on the circuit. But those things break. What's the maintenance like on those things? What's a boy to do? Well, the pitmaster of Owl's Nest Barbecue and the owner of Midnight Oil, Steve Ray, is going to do it. And then we'll move to the second hour. At 10:14, I don't know if you follow me on the Facebooks, /Greg.Rempe, REMPE, 1G with Greg. I found that the Gregs that are GREG are by and large Gregory. And the GREGG, they're not Gregory. They're just Greg. They're lameskis. Their parents couldn't hash out the ORY. They were lazy. Nevertheless, if you follow me on the Facebook, you would know that 2 or 3 weeks ago, I thought I stumbled over something new and upcoming, live, local, and late breaking. Hello, everybody. But evidently, it's just one of those things that I've missed, much to my chagrin, but I figured this would be the time to get it on because I've been seeing posts about it. It's called the National Barbecue Cup. Randall Bowman is the guy that's in charge of it, so he will be joining us at 10:14. We're going to talk to him about it. We'll learn about the National Barbecue Cup. We'll see what it's all about. Also, he is a manufacturer of, and I hate to generalize, but it appears that in the southeast quadrant of the world or country, he kind of owns the smoker market out there. Deep South Smokers, I believe, is the name of the cooker that he makes. Yeah, Deep South Smokers. They are a, let's say, cabinet style in the vein. Look, every cooker has its Kleenex, right? Ceramics is Big Green Egg. Pellet is Traeger, as much as I hate to say it because of these guys down on the bottom. And this style that the Deep South is, a Stump style to a certain degree. Let's call it that way, because I think Stumps kind of broke into that market along with Spice Wine and companies like that. So we'll talk to him about those cookers as well as the National Barbecue Cup. Hey, John Dawson, I know I could too. Yeah. I wish I had that picture up so you wouldn't see me doing the impression. Who doesn't love Harry Carey? So that's what's on tap tonight. Also, you can email or call in if you see fit. 216-220-0966, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Let everybody know the show's on, folks. Send them to my website, The BBQ Central Show. Send them to the longtime video syndication partner of the show, outdoorcookingchannel.com/watch-now. Also on Roku. And I've heard mixed reviews about Roku. My parents were very big on Roku. They loved watching it from the comfort of their couch. And then evidently the feed on Roku wasn't as great for whatever reason. This is the feedback I'm getting from them. I don't know if any of you other people watch it, but I know they do on Roku. And I was getting text messages in the show going, oh, the feed blows. Where else can I go? Never mind that I have my own website that you could listen to it on. So I said, check out the live stream on YouTube. And then, here it is, right?
Greg, this is your mother calling. Yes, we're still very disappointed with this Roku, whatever you said. Who are you talking to? I'm talking to Greg about the terrible Roku. Who? Greg. He's doing the show. It's Tuesday night in his basement. The show. What are you making those air quotes for? What does that mean? His show. Just humor him, okay? So anyway, honey, I'm talking about the bad Roku feed, and then here it is, the YouTube. How? I don't know. How do we get on there last week? How do we get on the YouTubes? Greg, we don't remember how we got on the YouTubes. and send us a link on the machine and let us know how to get there.
I don't have a link to go there. I don't have the.
Look, we got there last week. I don't.
Tell him to send us the link on how to get to the YouTubes. I can't stand the Roku. I'm gonna go to the refrigerator and get me a martini, a dry martini with 2 olives. I love olives.
Yes, of course you love olives. Go have 3 martinis. Now leave me alone. I'm trying to get to the YouTubes.
I'll send you a link. All right.
Yeah, please see that you do. We're missing your open, and we would hate to do it.
Yeah. We don't want to miss it. We love the show. Your show.
See, you're doing the air quotes, too. I just saw you do.
Don't make him feel bad. All right. I gotta go make a martini, okay?
All right, honey, we'll try and find you. Otherwise, I don't know how we'll see you. So this could be it for us.
All right, Mom. Well, thanks for calling in. That's how it is. We found it once. We'll never find it again.
Get that freak stuff out of here.
Before we go to break, last week I broke news. I'm going to break news again right now.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
That's right. Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio. I reported last week that Ryan Grube's smoker of Backdraft Barbecue was stolen. Since then, it has been found unscathed, safe and sound. That's right. Through the power of the Barbecue Central Show, your stolen cookers will be found. Huh. I don't know if it gets any better than that. Congratulations to Ryan, all the news, all that stuff. Fabulous. Fred Robles coming out of the break, but first let me talk to you quickly about Cook Shack, manufacturers of smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience. Whether you're a barbecue cook in the backyard, on the competition circuit, or in a 5-star dining facility, Cook Shack has a unit that will do the job. And with a perfect full line of barbecue sauces, spices, and pellets and wood chunks, it is a perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, smoking and cooking classes, a video cooking classroom. Check out their website, why don't you? Cookshack.com. Or follow them on these social media type instances. Instagrams, Facebooks, the YouTubes.
The what?
Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. Get advice or share your passion for barbecue on the world-class barbecue forum. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion. Ed Fast Eddie Marin, the FEC 100 and 1000 are always customer favorites. The PG 1000 can double as a smoker and a grill. Low and slow or hot and fast, the pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. Cook Shack residential electric smokers are the #1 smoker in the industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion, dedication drives the Cook Shack's manufacturing folks, with quality always being a top priority. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. Call them, 800-423-0698, or visit the website cookshack.com. That's cookshack.com. All right, we're going to gather up Fred Robles. We're going to talk Texas barbecue. We're going to talk about him going to the Jack. It's going to be a hoot. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back to the show. This portion is being brought to you by the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour. 31 cities, 500,000 in cash, if anybody needs that. Plus, more important, eternal bragging rights if you win the whole thing. This coming weekend, the Sam's Club Barbecue Tour is rolling into Las Vegas, Nevada, for the first regional round of the season. To keep up with Sam's Tour's results, see where the next event will be, or to register your team to compete, I believe there's a few spots left. Visit kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. My first guest tonight punched his ticket for the Jack Daniels 2 weeks ago, winning lucky number 7 this past weekend. He added some backup with another win, 2 in as many weeks, giving him number 8. Let's go ahead and head to the hotline and welcome first-timer to the show, the pitmaster of Rio Valley Meat Company, Fred Robles, joining me here on the show. Fred, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Fred, am I saying your last name right? Is it Robles?
Robles, yes, sir.
Robles, all right. Fred, let's go ahead and do this since you haven't been on the show before. I always like to kind of do that background thing with folks that are coming on for the first time, introduce them to the Centralites. Maybe a little background about you professionally, and then we'll build into the barbecue from there.
Well, actually, the name Rio Valley Meat comes from a business that I own, a meat market. And thus that in itself is actually why I started barbecuing to begin with. One of the ways to promote the meat market and some of the products we offered. After getting my first walk, I was hooked after that. So. And it's led to where I am now. I mean, I'm grateful for every opportunity I've had up until now, and I love competition barbecue.
Fred, is Rio Valley Meat, are you like a butcher by trade, or what's the deal with that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a retail meat shop here in my hometown, actually, and we offer, anything your local butcher would offer, and we offer a lot. We cater now because I'm in competition barbecue. We cater a lot of competition barbecue products as well, different injections and rubs and barbecue sauces and that sort of stuff also.
Fred Robles joining me here on the show from Rio Valley Meat Company. Fred, do you find, being somebody that's around meat and the butcher stuff, I have a show sponsor, David Bosca from Butcher Barbecue, who up and just till recently retired from the trade of being a butcher. Do you find that having that intimate knowledge of working with the product that you're also competing with weekend in and weekend out gives you a leg up on the competition to any degree?
I think it does. Definitely, because we get to see a lot of different meats go through our doors. So for one, you get to your trimming and what have you is a lot better than just because your knife skills are just more honed in. I think is a good thing, but you get to see, brisket in particular, you get to pick the nicer ones with the nicer marbling. You get the pick of the litter, in other words.
Fred, so having the meat market, did somebody say, hey, come out to a barbecue competition, or is it something that you read in the paper? Were there a lot happening around you? Where does the step into the competition happen?
There was one I recall in particular, which was my first ever competition. One of the bigger ones here in the general area, Smoking on the Rio. That one has this year it actually had about 250 teams competing, and it's a big deal around here. A lot of folks go out there, and like I said, it was more of a marketing deal for the meat market. Just kind of put our banner out there, our name out there, and just garner some interest into bringing people through our doors. And that's really the whole reasoning behind me getting into competition barbecue.
Fred Robles joining me here on the show from Rio Valley Meat Company. What are you cooking on, Fred?
I'm cooking on the J3 on the Jambo.
Do you cook on any other cookers, or is Jambo the singular pit that you compete with?
Jambo is I cook brisket and ribs in the Jambo. Down here, most of the competition, most of the events are sanctioned by IBCA, so it's mostly brisket, ribs, and chicken. Actually, my chicken I cook on a Weber kettle. So it's my Jambo and my Weber, and that's it.
Have you ever used the chicken for like the Jambo for like everything, or has it always been a
yes,
two?
I have. Actually, last year at Smoking on the Rio, I cooked all 3 meats in the Jambo. Did pretty well there. Ended up grand champion.
Fred, qualifying for the Jack this year, 2 weeks ago you win number 7. There's that definitive time frame between one season to the next where if you can string 7 grand championships together, you get to go down to the Jack automatically. Is this the first time you're going down to Lynchburg?
Yes, sir. It is the first time. I'm excited about that.
So when you get number 7, you know you're going to go down there. And look, I mean, I talked to a lot of KCBS teams, a lot of FBA teams, and I've made a concerted effort here over the last year, maybe year and a half, to get a lot of the Texas teams on there. So I'm not asking you to speak for Texas, but, I mean, obviously you're around a lot of pitmasters. Do guys want to win 7 or be able to qualify for the Jack? Does it hold as much mystique for the IBC and the Lone Star and, you know, some of these other guys as it does for some of the other sanctioning bodies, or is it not that big of a deal?
Absolutely. I think it is a very big deal. As we all know, the Jack is the Super Bowl of barbecue. I mean, it's a prestigious event that any serious competitive cook wants to be at. Just to get a chance at cooking out there in Lynchburg is awesome. And I was fortunate enough to get a couple grand champions under my belt before the end of the year. And this year started off great for me, and I'm just blessed that I was able to get number 7 here 2 weeks ago.
Let me ask you something specifically about the judging at the Jack, Fred, and I don't know how much you've heard about it or, you know, gotten input from other folks that have been there. There seems to be kind of that definitive percentage of, and on the smaller side, educated, certified barbecue judges, and then perhaps more of a majority of unseasoned or not a lot of judging competition experience. And I'm wondering, because IBCA and a lot of the Texas sanctioning bodies that are out there right now, there isn't sanctioned or there isn't certified judges. You're kind of getting, you know, the man off the street, if you will, and they kind of judge, and it's a people choice type of thing. Do you find that because there is kind of a discrepancy in how the judging palettes are going to be in that tent, that you find a little bit more of a leg up on the from a high level? Do you find more of a leg up on that kind of a situation?
Honestly, I'm still doing my homework on the Jack. I really don't know how the judging is out there, but if it is the way you're telling me, IBCA is a lot like that, to where pretty much anybody can go and judge. So you kind of have to hit a bunch of different palettes and kind of be what I call middle of the road barbecue. Nothing that's going to offend somebody as far as taste goes. So that's the way I try to cook, and it's done well so far. So I mean, I might have a leg up, but then again, we're not used to cooking pork. We do chicken halves. We don't do thighs. There's a lot of different variables as well. Fred,
there is a thought that some guys, that, you know, they win depending on where they're at in the country. They will make some kind of an adjustment to their flavor profile when they get down to the Jack. Is that something that you will entertain as you're doing your research, or will you say, hey, here's what's worked in Texas, this is what has gotten me to this point, I'm going to kind of dance with the girl that brought me here?
Yeah, a good friend of mine once told me that same, we actually cooked, and I went with a couple of friends of mine out to Florida, January for the Sunny's Invitational.
Yep.
We cooked in that event. I cooked with them. We actually both qualified, but I cooked with them, and And they were asking me, what do you think we should do? Should we change our profile? I told them we're gonna dance with the girl who took us to prom. That's kind of the approach I'm going to take to the Jag. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but that's the way I know how to cook barbecue. So I think I'm going to stick to my guns.
Fred Robles joining me here from the show. Fred, let me ask you, when we look at this past weekend, which was number 8, 2 in as many weeks as far as Grand Championships are concerned, you're cooking down in Orange Grove, Texas at the Orange Grove Volunteer Fire Department barbecue cook-off. You have almost 70 teams there. You know, traditionally, as I've started to follow more and more of the Texas stuff, there's a lot of teams that are going to these events. I mean, 70 teams at a KCBS or an FBA event would be like a lot of teams. But this almost seems more on the low end for a lot of the Texas contests, right?
Yeah, we get there's a lot of teams showing up to events around here. 70s, 90s, 100s. Turn Burnout in Pleasanton had 250 this year in March. So it's 70 is not unheard of. It's quite common around here.
Talk to me a little bit about your flavor profile. Obviously, in IBCA, you're doing brisket, you're doing ribs, and you're doing half chickens. What are you finding flavor profile-wise or seasoning-wise that really seems to trip the judges' taste buds?
I think middle of the road barbecue. And the way IBCA is scored, they score you 1 to 10. So I don't want my personal thinking towards barbecue is, hey, I don't want that what I call the wow factor, to where I'm going to wow a judge, but that judge say it's with sweetness. And then there's a guy over here next to him that doesn't like sweet ribs per se. And he's the guy who does like them is going to give me a 10, but the other guy is going to give me a 1. I'd rather be in the middle, to where I'm getting 6s and 7s all the way across, and at the end it's going to add up to a better point average. So that's kind of my take towards barbecue. Not too sweet, not too salty. It's just the middle of the road barbecue, what I like to call middle of the road.
Is there a tendency to go sauce on any of the meats, or is it a lot of, let's call it au jus or self juice going back on those meats?
Is there a tendency to go soft?
Sauce.
Oh, sauce. Brisket, Texas brisket is hardly ever sauced. I mean, I've seen it out there. I've seen guys doing it. My personal preference is no sauce on brisket. That's just the way I like to eat it. So that's the way I present it to the judges. Ribs and chicken, yeah, more often than not, they're sauced.
Fred Robles joining me here on the show from Rio Valley Meat Company. Fred, in regards to competitions themselves, just on a high level, obviously there's a lot of teams that are showing up in Texas. What kind of an entry fee are you looking at on the average versus something that you might see in a KCBS or an FBA type of a situation?
Average is about $150 to $200 around here. That's more, about, I'd say about 80%, 90% are in that price range.
Do you find that a lot of the cooks are going to any of these higher end briskets, or at least in that particular region, you guys kind of still stay not commodity, but not in the Wagyu either?
Being in the meat business, I get calls for, you name it. They're asking for Wagyus. A lot of guys just the USDA primes, choice. I mean, but yeah, I've had calls for Wagyus. Whether or not they're doing well here in Texas, I'm not sure. I prefer to cook just the regular prime, a well marbled prime, just because that's what's been working for me so far. So, but there is interest in the higher end stuff as well.
Because it's working for you, and I get it, a lot of pit masters are always just going to kind of stay with what, if it's hitting, why bother changing it, right? If I were to say, hey, Fred, my name is Johnny Brisket. I have this Wagyu brisket company, and I'm going to give you briskets for the rest of the season. It's a cost you don't have to worry about. But that's what you have to use. Would you take that?
I would definitely be interested and definitely try them.
All right, so here's the devil's advocate to that answer. If what's winning is the prime, is it more important to figure out how you can work with something that may or may not hit because it's not a cost absorption, or what? Do you know what I'm saying?
I really just haven't cooked Wagyus because of the cost more than anything. I know some guys out here, I cook one personally for competition, one brisket, and that's it. But I know guys using 2, 3 briskets, so I can imagine how much they're spending on their meats. But really my whole deal for not using Wagyus, and to be honest with you, I have never cooked a Wagyu. I just haven't done it because of the price cost itself.
But if you are a top IBCA points chase right now, and you've won 2 contests in a row, and you've won 8, within the last whatever period of time it is right now to qualify for the Jack. I mean, I could make obviously, it's my show, and I can make arguments either way I want to. It's very easy for me, for some idiot that never does this. But I could make an argument that, Wagyu, it wouldn't help you. It wouldn't get you any better results. If you're winning, you're winning.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's one of those deals that I'm very meticulous about the way my whole approach throughout the week leading up to a contest. There's things I do a certain way all the time, and just cooking a prime brisket is one of those things. I've always just done it that way. I haven't had the need to change yet. If it ever arises, then I might try to step it up and try to go for something like a Wagyu.
That's right. Ever evolving is what you have to be in the competition barbecue world game. Quick question before I let you go, Fred, and I appreciate the time tonight. Biggest mistake, the biggest mistake that new teams make that you see?
Overthinking barbecue. At the end of the day, it's barbecue. I mean, it ain't nothing else. It's I tell you this from experience because it happened to me when I first got into it. I'd see all kinds of videos and watch all kinds of TV shows and read on forums and this and that and come to realize it, especially here in Texas, IBCA or Lone Star or Texas Gulf Coast or whichever sanctioning body you're cooking in. It's your normal average Joe going out there to judge. And what do they like? They like barbecue, just average, just good barbecue. And at the end of the day, I think whoever can keep their brisket and their ribs and their chicken moist and tender the longest in a tray by the time the judges get to it, I think that's who wins. So the biggest mistake is overthinking barbecue, thinking that there's some sort of magic dust or magic rub or magic sauce that's going to make you win. I don't think there's anything like that. I think it's a blend of things, the blend of your injections, your rubs, your spices, your sauces. It's just a good mixture of everything that's going to come together and give you a winning product.
Fred, I lied. I have one more question, and then I promise I'll let you go, and I appreciate the time.
Okay.
From a restaurant barbecue type of situation, would you pay $38 for a beef rib?
No.
No. Ha-ha! You're the first. I got it on tape. All right, I'm not going to tell you where I'm going with that, but I'm building a case. Fred Robles joining me from Rio Valley Meat Company. He has won 2 contests in a row. He's qualified for the Jack Daniels this year. Where are you going to be competing at next, Fred?
There's a local contest here a couple miles away from home this weekend. So they're Engine Bravest and Finest Cook-Off. They usually get about 50 to 60 teams there, so I'll be there this weekend.
All right, so good luck trying to string number 3 together, and obviously if you do it, the show karma has proven out to be typically guys that show up on Tuesday win on Saturday. So, I'm not saying you're going to win, but you're probably going to win, all right?
Good deal.
All right, Fred, really appreciate the time tonight, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
I appreciate it.
You got it. There he is, Fred Robles from Rio Valley Meat Company. I always find it interesting. I mean, is that the guys that are doing it by trade, right? I mean, how long has Dave Bosca was a butcher for, let me do my math here. It's 5 years, sponsored the show. I think Fred has been Dave was a butcher for, I think, 650 years. So the knife skills and unless I'm completely mistaken, I believe Dave Bosca found what they call the horn in the pork butt. I believe I saw him almost come up with the horn, or had recently found the horn when I was hosting the Miami, Oklahoma Smoking at the Run with Dave Qualls, American Dream Barbecue Team. Speaking of Dave Bosca, I'm going to read for him right now. And by the way, No Names Please said, get a teleprompter for your reads. No. I'm not going to do that. I want you to see exactly what's happening. Remember, radio show first, right? This is really what's happening. I mean, I could probably do... Oh, you know what? I know what to say about Dave. If you're looking to step up the barbecue and grilling game, there's no better or easier way to do it than by going to butcherbbq.com. We all know Butcher's Barbecue has the injections. They have the sauce, the sweet barbecue sauce, which I absolutely love. The first time that I had Dave Bosca's Butcher's Barbecue sauce, I was drinking it out of the bottle. Meathead was there. He can testify to it. In fact, he stopped our interview and said, "You are drinking that barbecue sauce right out of the bottle. It must be really good." I said, "I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's good enough to drink out of this bottle." Those are just the first two things. There's a whole new line of rubs out for Butcher BBQ right now. The pecan rub, the cherry rub, the chipotle rub, or chipotle, and the Master's Secret Double Top Secret Blend rub. All new. ButcherBBQ.com. That's where you can get them at. If you've bought another injection and you've realized that that was a mistake, you shouldn't have spent that money. In the past, you've had to throw it out. You suck up your losses. You take the kick from the balls from the wife saying, hey, you just spent $100 on injections that you don't even like. Come on, what are you going to do? Well, now you can take that other brand. You go to butcherbbq.com. You click on the trade-in link up there at the top. And then you print out that label. And then you take that label, your remaining rub, you ship it over to Dave. He's going to weigh it. All of his weigh-outs in the end are final. And then say, hey, send me some of your premium injection or some of your bird booster in replacement. He's going to send you the weight that you sent in with his product back to you. Who else is doing that in the industry? Nobody else is doing that. He's making his customers happy every day. Also, his competition's customers happy by taking their stuff, giving you his stuff. And oh, by the way, the grilling oils are off the chain, folks. Come on. Head on over to butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. It's trailer maintenance with Steve Ray from Owl's Nest. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Angela Iverson is in the chat room. Long time no see, Angela. Come on. This portion of the show being brought to you by the Barbecue Central Show. Oh, my God. Steve Ray has completely thrown me off. This guy is a marketing genius. You're going to see here for a second. Just hold on. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, manufacturers of some of the best pellet cookers on the market today. If you're looking for a big cooker to house a lot of food, they got one for you. How about something medium-sized? Certainly. How about something to take on tailgates? Why not? Head on over to greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. Check them out. I love mine. You could love yours if you would just visit the website. By the way, they do have pellets as well if you want to fire that Green Mountain Grill that you get. As I had mentioned all the way back in the show open, you have these people, these competitors running around, showing everybody how much money they have, buying 800 and 700-foot trailers, showcasing, look at this, look at that. who's to keep up with the maintenance on these things? Oh, my God, my wheel went down, my axle's broke, my tongue doesn't work. I'm throwing tongue in there because once I saw it on a forum, I don't even know what that means. Why not bring in an expert? Midnight Oil's very own and the pitmaster of Owl's Nest Barbecue, Steve Ray, joining me here on the show. Steve, how are you, buddy?
How about that?
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Is that it?
There you are. Yeah, you were muted out. I knew it. I was like, man, the guy can't look that good and not have sound. There's got to be something elementary.
What's that button do?
Yeah. Click that one. Nobody can ever hear you. Some people say I got a face for radio. That's right.
I'm with you.
All right, Steve. So let's get to the. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to use this pun. Let's get to the nuts and bolts of the topic tonight, which is, trailers. And I think never over the last even 2 or 3 years have I seen so many people on the Facebook, and maybe it's because it's a social media revolution, right? But I've never seen so many people put up pictures of, oh, my tire just shredded, or my wheel is facing in the opposite direction. I mean, people are spending a lot of money. Nobody's better than you, right? I mean, you're a competitive barbecue cook. You know what it takes to get out there on the circuit and be competitive. And people are spending a lot of money on trailers to hide. So talk to me, I guess, a little bit. And here's the idea for the segment is trailer maintenance and things that you can do to potentially stave off some of these high-cost repairs. What do we need to know about some of the basic maintenance tips for trailers, whether you're a caterer or a competitive barbecue cook or just some hack like me that's got millions?
Well, in chat room when you were coming on the air, Patio Daddio said, lube, tires, session over.
Yeah, very easy,
But
right?
You know what? He about hit it on the head, Greg. Is without a doubt the most forgotten thing to do to your camper, trailer, your cooking rig, whatever you have, and we see it every day at my service station. We're right on I-75 at exit 11 in Tennessee on the northbound side, and they're barely, especially in the summer, a day goes by when we don't get a camper in, smoking tire, a blown out tire. The tire blows out and it rips the side off the camper. Lawnmower trailers, all things like that, and it's simply due to either it's not normally something they run over on the road. It's normally a bad tire, a dry rotted tire, a tire that's separated. It's a tire that they bought at a local used tire place, and they put it on their trailer because they, quote, didn't want to put a whole lot of money into a tire for a trailer, and it just spells disaster. Because what happens when that tire blows, when that wheel bearing goes and that spindle gets hot, you in your back rear view mirror, and it looks like a scene out of the French Connection. They're sideways, going from lane to lane, and you're taking out people from Canada and in Michigan, and it can be a disaster. A lot of accidents on the interstate due to that, due to campers, trailers with poor maintenance.
So, Steve, if I'm walking around, if I have any of these trailers that you had mentioned, what's like the checklist or the pre-trip inspection that I should be going through to ensure that as I start out on the journey, I'm at least not giving myself the best efforts of being one of those Facebook posters going, oh, look what happened to me 5 minutes into my trip? What
I do, Greg, on our trailer, on our comp trailer, on both of them, the two that we've had, I jack up each side individually, and I pull both tires off. And I look at those tires. I make sure I look at the inside to make sure there's no cracks in them. A lot of times, if you're like me, a lot of guys buy these trailers used. People put Armor All on the outside. They look all pretty. They look good, but on the inside, you start to see the drywall crack, especially trailer tires. A trailer tire is called an ST tire. The designation for a car tire, like you and I have, is P. It'll start like P215 75R15. But a trailer tire, a true trailer tire, 6-ply, 8-ply, or 10-ply, will start out ST 215 7515, and they're real heavy. They've got a lot of rubber in them, a lot of belts, and they tend to separate quicker than a passenger car tire. And they will do that on the inside. They'll get knots on the inside, and the only way to see that is to take it off. And when you've got it off, you want to look at your spindle bearings. If you've got a buddy bearing which is the best thing to have. You can just hit it with grease on the outside. But if you've got a standard spindle with a hub assembly, you need to pull that off, pack those bearings. And I'll say this, Greg, if you take the time to take the wheels off and you're going to pack the bearings, go ahead and get new bearings. Bearings are maybe $30 a side. And for $60, you can have brand new bearings. You can pack them. You can buy a tool for $20 that can pack them on your workbench at the house, or you can do the old palm pack them, and put it back on that spindle, and you will have a trouble-free trip.
I would love to sit here and tell you, Steve, that I am very handy and that I can pack this. And the only thing I know about packing is whole packer briskets, and that's about it. So I hear when I hear take wheels off and pack bearings, after I get done passing out, I'm like, well, how the hell am I going to do that? Is it something that you just go on YouTube and find, or like what's the best way to actually be able to do it?
You can go on YouTube, of course, but your best bet is to take it to your local service guy. We have lots of guys that come every year with their boat trailers, especially a lot of bass fishermen. We see more, obviously, being in this part of the country, we see more bass fishermen than we do competition cookers, and we see more campers than anything. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing that's on a competitive trailer that we all pull. It's the same setup. It's a static axle. It's not a live axle. Each side is independent of the other, and you need to have your professional look at it if you don't know what you're looking for. And when those tires and when you take those wheels off, you can get under there also. You can look at springs. Greg, just last summer we had a friend of yours and an acquaintance of mine and his partner going to Kansas City called me out of the blue, and he was on I-24, and they thought they had a flat, and what they had a broken axle. And it was a spring hanger that broke, and I wasn't close enough to help them, but I was close enough to find them help and to get them towed off of the interstate, and they were close enough to Cookeville, Tennessee, that one of their buddies were able to help them. So you know that wrecker, man, when that wrecker comes out, it's expensive, and that trailer, it has to go up on that rollback, and those guys, you don't there's no bargaining. They just tell you how much it's going to be, and you pay it.
Steve, when you take it, let's talk about tires, I guess, and making sure that if the bearings need to be packed, if you're taking it somewhere, like, is there a general cost that you think you might be into if you're taking it somewhere versus the $60 if you're doing it yourself, and the other $20 for the tool or whatever? I mean, are you in the couple $100 range, which has still got to be way less than putting it up on the back of the hook?
You hit the nail on the head. 200, 250 to pull. If it's a setup like on our competition camper, where we've got electric brakes on the one wheel and just a hub assembly on the other, it doesn't have a buddy bearing, so you actually have to pull. You have to pull the hub off and get and access the bearings in there, and you have to pack them, and then you do all four. It takes 3 to 4 hours to do that. With a buddy bearing, is great. You just stick the lube gun on there, and it's got a little zert fitting on the end, and the listeners know what we're talking about, and you can hit those. And I mean, you're talking, if you just want the zert fittings hit, you don't want anything inspected, you're talking $10.
Steve Ray joining me here on the show from Midnight Oil. He is off of I-75, exit 11 on the northbound side. Do you do a lot of barbecue work? Like, do you get guys coming in because they're in distress or they just want to PM or something like this?
No, not on barbecue trailers. We get a lot of campers though, because they're more out there than anything. We get a lot of people that live in Michigan, and they travel to Florida, and they set up there during the wintertime. And this time of year they're heading back, and they've been in Michigan, where salt factor, and even where you live, Greg, in Cleveland, the salt factor on cars is just enormous. And then they drive down to Florida, where the salt factor is bad too, just in the air
right?
that surrounds them. And that is what wears on oil and grease, and the sand gets in those bearings, and you can't help it. No matter how well it's sealed up, it will get in there. And they don't have them taken off. They don't have them cleaned. Well, see, when you take them off and clean them, you're going to take them over to your cleaning service center. The mechanic's going to take them in a brush and in a compound, and he's going to wash out those bearings. And you can inspect them. If he's got any pits, you throw them away, and you get you get new bearing. You pound out the race, and you replace it. So, I'm of the notion of this: if you have a flat on a camper, or you're lucky enough to find somebody who can repair the flat, if you get it to the place and repair it, go to the cook and finish. When you go home, replace. Even take a chance with it. I don't care how well it's been repaired. We had one. We got home from Bainbridge a few weeks ago after we competed. It was on our camper. It was flat. We're having a little connection problem. It sounds like.
Yeah, there you go. So you were saying that you had an issue with the tire coming back from Bainbridge.
Yeah, well, we were lucky enough. We made it home, and it was flat. When I looked out the back of the service station where we keep our camper the next day, it was on the ground. So thank you. And we made it home and didn't have to worry about it. And but I didn't even there was a nail in the tire. I probably picked it up in my own service station because people we have carpenters and electricians and everybody that trade there, and they fall out all the time. And but I threw it away. I didn't want to patch it. I didn't want to plug it. I just wanted it gone because 6-ply tire is the only thing separating you from a disaster on the interstate.
Steve, in regards to the competition side of things, obviously the pitmaster of Owl's Nest Barbecue, where are you going to be competing at next, and what's the schedule look like for this year?
We do a little local chicken wing contest this Saturday, and then we come back and we go to Rome mid-May, and then we're going to and Memorial Day we're going to Titan Stadium to do the National Barbecue Cup, the Open, and then I tell you, we've got a KCBS event right here in Chattanooga, June 3rd and 4th that we're going to do. I'm excited about that. If anybody wants to look it up on the KCBS website, follow the links. Red Bank, Tennessee is just a part of Chattanooga, a very nice venue, and we're very excited about that. And then we head up to Maryville after that. So this is our busy season.
Steve Ray is the pitmaster of Owl's Nest Barbecue Competition cooking team, but in his real life, he is out there at Midnight Oil, and it is I-75 exit 11 northbound side. So if you're kind of around that area and trouble hits you, he's the guy you're going to want to call, and he's going to be able to help you out. Steve, really appreciate the information tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Greg, and I appreciate you too, and I want to encourage everyone.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You
have
got
a good night.
You too. There he is, Steve Ray. John Dawson with check your tires and then get a new internet connection on your way home. Help! How far heat should be from tires and how often he sees that as an issue. Oh, I got off. How far heat should be away? I don't know. That's a good question for next time. Sorry, Matt. Steve's in the chat room, so he might see this. I think he's still in the chat room. Just put it, he'll probably see it. He'll help you out with that. Answering questions without charging a $100 fee to look at it, by the way, is Steve Ray. So see if he's still in there, Matt, and then ask him. He'll help you out. Let me talk to you quickly about the Chops Power Injector System. That's right, the National Barbecue Association. Hold on. Let me do it. The National Barbecue Association's 2015 and 2016 Tool of the Year. They come in 3 awesome sizes to fit your injection needs, from backyard cooks to the caterers and restaurant chefs. There's a power injector right for you. Each of their patent-pending Chops Power Injector systems features not 1, not 2, but 4 evenly spaced, perfect distance needles for injecting. 3 different models to choose from. Let me tell you about them. Number 1 seller, a half-gallon Chops Power Injector System designed for competitors or to pump up the backyard warrior. Easy to use. Clean it, fill it, pump it, and go. If you have 1 brisket or pork shoulder to do, you don't need to fill it all the way up. Just put in what you need. It will use it all, and it comes with 14-gauge needles, 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $100 plus shipping anywhere. The 1-gallon Chops Power Injector System. It holds double the amount of the half-gallon. Some use it in competitions, like when you're cooking MBN whole hog, or 10 shoulders to get that perfect one. Comes with 14-gauge needles, 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $120 plus shipping anywhere. Then, of course, the Chops Full Power Injector System. It's electric. It's the commercial and competition Big Daddy. It's not a holding tank, but 3.5-foot pickup tube, that you can put in any size container. From a few ounces to a 55-gallon drum, it was designed for Chef Rob at the Best Barbecue restaurant in Kansas City. He said time and time again that it is making his briskets better than ever. It comes with metal needle adapters, 14-gauge needles, 3-inch 12-gauge needles, 2-inch 11.5-gauge needles, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $325 plus shipping anyway. A number of the top pitmasters in the world are using the Chops Power Injector system every day to make their barbecue better than the rest. We live in a foodie world. We need flavor in every bite. This is how you do it and do it fast. You can inject alcohol into fruit. In the meantime, you want to get a lot of efficiency out of it, that's another way to do it. They're all made in Kansas City, Missouri. You want accessories, they got them. Let Dan Uladol and the folks over at the Chops Power Injector System hook you up. BarbecueKansasCity.com. That's BARBEQUE. BARBEQUE. BarbecueKansasCity.com. The Chops Power Injector System. Give your barbecue some power. We'll be back to wrap up the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the BBQ Central Show.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Thanks again to Steve Ray for coming on. Owl's Nest Barbecue. Midnight Oil is Midnight Oil is his service shop. Again, I-75, northbound side, exit 11. If you're a trucker, get on the big truck. Where's the nearest hook there, boy? Yep. I-75, 11-yard sticker northbound side there by the chicken coop. Come on. Come on. Got a bear in the air. Cash box is closed up. Don't worry about that chicken coop there on the westbound side either, boy. Yeah. That's how truckers talk. I know. I'm in the trucking business. Again, thanks to Steve Ray for the maintenance tips. He's obviously giving some maintenance tips there in the chat room as well. So if you are just listening and you want to check out the chat, maybe you have a maintenance question for Steve to answer here over the next couple minutes going forward, OutdoorCookingChannel.com/watch-now. That's OutdoorCookingChannel/watch-now. And you can jump in the chat as well if you got any maintenance questions for Steve. He's going to help you out. And if you're broke down on I-75 somewhere near exit 11, he's the guy you want to look at. All right, we got technical issues potentially worked out with Randall Bowman coming up next hour, so we'll see how that works in about 30 minutes. We're going to go phone instead of Skype. That's fine. If you have any questions, you give me a call, 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. We're back right after this for the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Networks. Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
Now listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Funny enough, as Matt Boer would talk about, tonight there is a beer sponsor. It's the only beer sponsor that I have. 17th State Pale Ale tonight. And you know what? I want to see. Matt guessed the exact APV last week on the Kolsch. So, Matt, this is an IPA. You tell me what the APV here is on my IPA. 17th State IPA. It's great. It's got a nice grape fruity cut to it. Chris Mackey will be joining us, who is the president of 17th State, the first beer sponsor of the show, which I appreciate. Yeah, man, it's good. IPA seems to be, I'm no beer guy. Matt is way more of the beer guy. However, IPA seems to be, and if you're a wine guy, maybe this is only relevant to Meathead. I don't know how many. Well, John Dawson's a wine guy, but maybe he left already. All right, 6-4, that's a guess. 6-4 is in. I'll wait for a couple more, and then I'll show you the exact APV. India Pale Ale right now seems to be, John, correct me if I'm wrong here because you're a wine guy as well, seems to be like the Pinot Noir of what wine was 4 or 5 years ago. I forget the name of the movie that Pinot Noir came on. It was like Curves or Crossroads or something like that, but it was all about Pinot. Then Pinot blew up, and it was all about Pinot. It was way more expensive than it should have been, a little more overrated, blah, blah, blah. Although a good Pinot in Turkey is very delicious. I think that's where IPA is right now in the beer world. The IPA is the Pinot of the wine world. All right, Matt guesses 6. Patio Daddio is 6.4. And if you can see, is it going to show? There it is, 6.5. John wins, 6.5. This is 1.5% more than that Kolsch. Yikes. And, you know, it makes it really hard for me to stay on the weekday warrior program with a beer sponsor. But, you know, I temper it. I wait to get my shit face on Friday and Saturday. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, give me that. Where can I get to blackout? Can that happen quick enough? Give me some Canadian beer. Come on, Kinger. Tell Lowenbrow or Molson Golden to send me down some of their finest. I love a Molson Golden. Oh, my. You remember Molson Golden? Oh, that was some of my favorite. In college, that was one of my most favorite beers ever. Here's a point of note. Starting yesterday, does it give you the IBU? I don't know. Let me look on the can. 6.5 ABV, 16 fluid ounces. It's a pounder. And the International Bitterness Unit, which I don't know if I is right. Now, I have no IBU. But when Chris Mackey comes in, he'll be able to give you IBU. I have no idea. I'm not even going to guess. I have no idea. Starting yesterday, as of yesterday, podcasts of this show, which have always been through like podcast directories or iTunes, and iTunes is by far the bigger way to get this show post live. Now has competition because, folks, Google Play Music is now carrying the show on podcast. That's right. In a statement marked yesterday, podcasts on Google Play Music in the U.S. and Canada will begin rolling out on Android and be available on the web. It is available on the web right now. I have to add that to the newsletter that goes out, which I didn't send out today. It was my bad. But I will have that link so you can listen to it on the web right now. And then as a progressive rollout, at some point, you'll be able to see podcasts in the Google Music portion. And you can subscribe to the show right there on the Android. So I'm very excited about that. Again, users may not see podcast content on the Google Play app immediately, but keep checking back. And once I see it on my phone, I'll go ahead and at least do another shout here. So, yeah, Matt, you're right. It was Sideways. That was the movie that brought Pinot Noir to its incredible and not-so-needed peak. And a lot of Pinot vintners made a killing because of that damn movie. Not so much now. And let me say this. If you've never had a Viognier, and I'm not a big white guy, and it looks like it says Viognier if you're looking for it. If your wine guy thinks he knows all about it and you say Viognier and he's like, huh? Look for the wine that says Viognier on it. That's a Viognier. Delicious. One of the best whites out there on the market right now. Look for a good Viognier and then talk to me about it. So look for this show, Google Play app, going forward. The Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour rolled into Fort Collins, Colorado this past weekend. This was the last local qualifier before the Las Vegas Regional taking place this coming weekend. And the top 6 teams moving on to the regional final in Las Vegas are as follows. Winning grand championship. When he's there, I mean, he pretty much wins. Darren Worth and Sherry Worth, Iowa Smoky D's, 699.3. Wow. Reserve Grand Champ, Darren Worth, best buddy, holding Sterling Ball aside. Rod Gray and Sherry Gray Pellet Envy with a 693.0. Joe Bob's Barbecue, third. Keep Calm and Blaze On, number 4. 5th position, Duck Dog Barbecue. And rounding out the top 6 and making it to Las Vegas, the Celtic Pig. So for point of note, 1 is at $6.99. 6 is at $6.68. So a 31-point difference between 1 and 6. Not only that, but there was a fairly large gap between 1 and 2 by 6.3 points. So in the game of barbecue, a hefty smackdown by Darren Worth across the other 5 that also got their ticket punched into Las Vegas. As I had mentioned, the next Sam's Club Tour stop is coming this weekend on 4/23 in Las Vegas. This is the first of 4 regional finals. The top 10 will be moving on from there to Bentonville. Good luck to all competing. Now, I want to take a moment to thank. Rarely am I thanking anybody on the show, but it is incumbent upon me to make sure that I give people the respect and thanks that they deserve. Thanks to my boy, my man, 50 grand, pitmaster of Whiskey Bend Barbecue, Chad Ward, for hosting my parents at the Venice barbecue competition event, the Suncoast Barbecue, whatever. It's in Venice, Florida, this past weekend. I did talk to Bill and Connie, got the recap. And they said the food, in a word, marginal. But the time was stupendous. I'm kidding. In all seriousness. I know when I send someone to hang out with the guys over at Whiskey Bent, they're going to be treated like part of the team, maybe even like somewhat of a monicum of royalty. They go way over the top. Chad is a top-notch guy. He's making his way in the barbecue industry as both a competition cook doing very well. But as in the business of barbecue with the 2 Whiskey Bend barbecue supply stores, the partnership with Traeger, he's doing very well for himself. And it's a testament to the person that Chad is and the work ethic that Chad has. And I personally appreciate how he has let my folks, my parents, into his camp a few times here over the last handful of years and really pulled back the curtain for them and allow them to see exactly what it takes to be competitive on the barbecue circuit. And I know they appreciate it as well. So thanks, Chad, and thanks to the whole team for having my parents out yet again. And at some point, I'm going to get down there and be at the Sun Close Cook-Off as well. I got a brand new mobile cooker, remote interview thing, which is going to help me do very well on, when I'm out. It's going to be awesome. But again, thanks to Chad Ward and the whole team over at Whiskey Bent for having my parents out there Saturday, through awards. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about the longest-running sponsor of the show, the BBQ Guru. What if I were to tell you that if you were looking for an automatic pit temperature control device from anybody else other than the BBQ Guru, you're making a mistake? These guys created this technology way back when. A genius named Shotgun Fred Perkle had a customer come to him and say, "Hey, Fred, you're into this micro fan controlled whatnot in your business. Can you put one of those on my barbecue pit?" Well, a week later, the prototype is built. It's proven out. Well, hell yeah. Not only that, we should bring this thing to market. Born is the BBQ Guru. Now, innovative, leading the market, providing a number of different models to choose from. If you're a busy working professional, right? You don't have the time to sit around and tend those pit temperatures and do all that. Who needs it? You can get this BBQ Guru, put it on your pit. You're off to do whatever it is you need to get done. You can run around and chase the kids. You can get errands done. Put that meat on. Put the BBQ Guru on. Boom. You're free. You're unleashed. You're not chained to the pit anymore. There's a couple different models to choose from. If you're a gadget person, you want to hook up your smart device because you want to check in on it all the time, CyberQ Wi-Fi is something you might want to look at. Now, maybe you just want like a cruise control situation. Party Q is the one you want. Self-contained, AA batteries, goes from one cooker to the next. It's great. You set the temperature, it keeps it right there. No worries. You can ramp it up and down. You go to thebbqguru.com. That's thebbqguru.com. You check out all their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. And they'll get you outfitted with exactly what you need to have you up and running right out of the box. Don't guess. Call them. thebbqguru.com or 800-288-GURU. All right, we're back with Randall Bowman. We're going to be talking about the National Barbecue Cup, amongst other things. We're having a gay old time here on the show. Gay? We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by the good folks over at cookinpellets.com. That's right, Chris Becker and the gang. Your number one source for quality wood pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also buy them on Amazon.com as well. Well, so here's the deal. I was trolling around the Facebooks, as I am ought to do, numerous times a day, and I saw this National Barbecue Cook. Oh, what the hell is that? It's new for 2016, right? No. Well, having firmly removed the egg from my face, was like, hey, it's coming up. Let's learn about it. I might as well learn about it with everybody else. And who's up to this? Who's doing it? I know. I found out who it is. Joining me now, Randall Bowman. Randall, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I feel somewhat affected by the fact that I was reading Facebook one day and I saw this whole big promotion for National Barbecue the National Barbecue Cup, and I was like, wow, somebody's come out with something new this year, but it's actually been around for a little bit, and I'm kind of late to the party, I guess.
Well, it has. This is actually the 6th year, but it is.
I'm really late to the party. Oh my God.
Well, it's a whole new location, new format. It is new in many senses.
All right, so let's start, all the way back. First, for you, Randall, what's your situation professionally, and what's your interest with barbecue?
Well, I've been doing barbecue professionally for 10 or 12 years now. But I own Deep South Smokers, which I know you'd mentioned earlier in the show. We build insulated, gravity-fed smokers. I'm also pretty heavily involved in some of the politics of barbecue, with sitting on committees for different KCBS functions. I'm a paid consulting organizer for a few events around the country as well. And then, of course, the National Barbecue Cup has kind of been my own personal baby now for the last 6 years.
Randall, can I'm going to ditch you real quick and call you back. I think I have a little bit of a bad connection.
Sure.
All right. Let's do that immediately. What's a Barbecue Central show without, bad connections, right? Is that ever going to change?
Your call has been properly delivered, but the party you are trying to reach is not accepting calls from callers who do not allow delivery of their telephone number.
What?
Please hang up, do not block the delivery of your number, and call again.
Oh, God. Well, great news. I screwed myself. What? Holy love of Mike. Am I blocking my number? I got to text him to call me back. What the hell? Enter your message. Confirm sent. Yeah. What the hey now? With the proliferation, these people that are calling to solicit you, I thought did the no-call list expire? I mean, damn, son. All right. Call back. Ugh. I might have to call him back on my phone to call him back.
Your call has been properly
Yeah, great. Lord. I might as well just call him on the damn phone and put the whatchamacallit up there. Oh, boy. Bear with me. Oh, good. That text message must have been delivered. Randall.
Yes.
All right. Better. Sorry about that. I'm calling, and the lady was scolding me on the other end, saying my number wasn't. I felt like such a ne'er-do-well, but nevertheless. All right. So talk to me about the National Barbecue National Barbecue Cup. How it kind of the genesis, why you decided that this is something that kind of needed to happen in the barbecue world.
Well, it all started because I had a facility here in my hometown of Cumming, Georgia, which is just north of Atlanta, that was a fairground, but it was built out with RV pedestals and power and water and things just everywhere. And it was a facility that would house 400 or 500 teams without any issues at all. So we began working on it a couple of years before we actually launched the first one, and once we got launched, it started out with, the 125, 150 teams from year one. And the vision, even in the beginning, was to turn this into a world championship. I just knew at that point we needed to build a foundation and lay the groundwork to make it solid enough to do that. And just to be, quite frank, we outgrew the community. Not the facility, but the community support was not as strong as it needed to be to take it here in Cumming, Georgia, to an invitational open world champion, style competition. And the opportunity with Nashville came up, and I had organized and worked closely with Arlie Bragg on some other contests, and we discussed it and felt that we could really turn this into a world championship caliber event that would be a mid-season thing, because unfortunately in competitive barbecue most of our large contests are late in the year, so guys are somewhat burned out at that point anyway, and I thought for a long time that a mid-season one would be a much bigger draw.
Randall, so talk to me about how one qualifies to get in the national bar, or I guess talk to me about how it's set up.
Well, and some of that has changed here recently due to some team of the year point issues that came up with our sanctioning body. Originally, the qualifications were going to be past KCBS Grand Champions, Florida Barbecue Association Grand Champions, and winners of the majors and some of those things. Unfortunately, being a first-year invitational, we were not able to attain points for the invitational version of the Barbecue Cup. So we made the choice in a special board meeting a few weeks ago to actually transform from an Invitational Open and just to a double for this year to then pursue the Invitational Open for 2017.
Randall, let me ask you, when you talk about having winners from various sanctioning bodies, and then you're also talking about points, in the end, are you trying to secure points for all sanctioning bodies, or is it just for KCBS people?
Well, ultimately, I'd like to see this be for everybody. But at this point, my ties are so close to KCBS because of what I work with every day. It was important for us to pursue that initially, and to help get them as a sanctioning body on board. And when you look at sanctioning bodies, the elephant in the room is obviously KCBS is by far the largest sanctioning body that we have. So it's hard to not view that when you're looking at something like this.
So just looking down the road and everything being utopia, like how do you see being able to disperse points to various sanctioning bodies? I mean, obviously, unless you get every, KCBS and Florida Barbecue Association and maybe some of the Texas guys to all agree that this is going to be an independently sanctioned contest that somehow feeds points back to whoever it is, right?
Oh, I think that would be wonderful. I think that no matter what sanctioning body anybody cooks, we're all there for one, common cause, and that is, we all love the competitive, barbecue circuit. And I think that there could be a large opportunity for an event that could possibly foster that relationship amongst the sanctioning bodies.
Randall Bowman joining me here on the show, talking about the National Barbecue Cup. Oh my God, I'm gonna take myself off the air. I want to say cook. I mean, it is a cook, but it's the National Barbecue Cup. So I guess maybe we didn't hit it, but how do you qualify to get into the National Barbecue Cup?
Well, at this point, the way we've morphed it into a double, anybody can cook this. Anybody can come compete for the $50,000 in prize money. They can come get KCBS points, take home all the accolades that come along with winning or getting a call with the National Barbecue Cup, and then look forward to 2017 for the qualifiers to come out, which are going to include, those I mentioned before, and heavily involve the teams that are there this year for the 2016 Barbecue Cup.
So let's talk about next year. I mean, when you talk about qualifying events, obviously that's going to culminate into a final event. Do you see this breaking off and being like a Sam's Club series or something along those lines in the end?
I think in the next few years you'll see other events spin off of this, to be something. I don't want to say like a Sam's Club, but I think you'll see other events under the umbrella of this.
Would it be more along the lines of a World Food Championships, where you have events that you can go to, and if you win or you finish whatever the criteria is that those teams now get an automatic bid to go into the National Barbecue Cup?
I think it very well could morph into something in between a Sam's Club and something in between, that setup and some mix of our own little flair in there as well.
Team-wise, this year you go, you pay your money, and you can kind of go up. Do you have some kind of an idea right now, like what teams that you have committed and how many you would like to see potentially show up?
Well, I mean, we have room and this event is in the Tennessee Titans parking lot. So I mean, we have a facility very similar to the American Royal has had this past year. So I mean, I think that the big picture is I think you can see a 300 or 400 team contest very easily. Wow. I'd like to see 125 or 150 teams this first year. We've got some variables to overcome with, other long-established Memorial Day weekend contests. There's many other doubles that are good-paying contests on Memorial Day weekend, and there's some, some marketing events going on Memorial Day weekend too that are taking some good teams. But even with that being said, I mean, Butcher's Barbecue is coming, and Richard Parker and his business partner are coming, and Mark Gibbs is coming. I mean, We've got still the who's who of barbecue is coming to compete.
Do you feel that, or when you were looking at the date to put it on, were there other dates that you were looking at, or you just said, hey, here's Memorial Day, we realize the potential scuds that are around us, and we're just going to push through, and we're going to make it here on Memorial Day weekend?
Well, when you're looking at dates for events, it's hard to find a perfect date, and when you partner with a city or government agencies with CVBs or chambers or things like that, sometimes you're kind of at the leeway for them with things, and the city of Nashville itself was very strong on Memorial Day weekend with their desires. And a lot of that's based on hotel occupancy and tourism and things like that, and Memorial Day weekend was at the top of their list of where they wanted to see this event be held.
You kind of have that partner in Arlie Bragg, who is well known throughout KCBS as being one of the, maybe if not the premier promoter and putting on of events over the last any number of years. I mean, well-known and well-respected in the industry.
Yeah.
What is he bringing to the table from your perspective that really helps kind of build the brand of National Barbecue Cup?
Well, I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Arlie, I think, was probably the first, organizer or person organizing for other people. I think he was probably the first guy to get paid to organize contests. He brings a tremendous amount of experience. I mean, he's organized probably 200 contests, over the last 10 years. So I mean, I don't think you can find anybody with more experience and widespread experience as far as event organization goes.
In regards to teams looking to sign up, what's the entry fee and how are you paying out?
It is a $500 entry for the double for both contests. We're paying $23,000 the first day, $23,000 the second day, and then we're going to do a cumulative grand champion of the highest average overall score is going to take home another $4,000. We're paying 10 deep overall and 10 deep in every category. We're trying to spread it out a little bit and make it a little more appealing for folks to want to come. One of the things from a competitor standpoint I've always hated is, a contest that pays out $10,000, but it's all in the first two placements. And that guy who finished fourth walks home with, a $75 check. I've always felt that if you could pay a little bit deeper and take care of some guys, it would be a little more beneficial for them.
Randall, when I look through the KCBS results each and every week, and I do it each and every week, and I see those purse fluctuations. One has $10,000, one has $20,000, one has $3,200.
Right.
And I wonder, what's the motivation for somebody to go out and let's say spend, $700 to $1,000 per contest on average for an overall payout of less than $5,000, it almost seems counterproductive.
Well, it's funny because there was a contest here in Georgia a few years ago, and we were sitting around, a bunch of us, at a contest the weekend before this, and we couldn't come up with any reason why anybody was cooking it. It was you could sweep every category and still lose money, yet 40 of us showed up. And I think a lot of it is the camaraderie. A lot of it is the competitiveness. And maybe we're all crazy. I don't know, but I don't know that it's in today's environment. You can have a successful long-term event with a payout that guys can't make money and you can't give money back to them.
So,
a $3,000 payout or a $4,000 payout is not a lot of money. It's hard for a guy who's going to pay a $200 to $300 entry fee and buy a $200 Wagyu brisket and bring his wife and kids and as you said, spend $1,000 on the weekend to have the potential to win $500. It doesn't make financial sense.
How difficult or maybe easy was it for you guys, because you're running with Arlie Bragg there, to secure sponsorships and to make sure that money that you're going to be offering is locked in and ready to go?
Well, the city of Nashville was a big chunk of the financial investment up front to secure this move, and that was a big part. But we've been fortunate in the fact that I've had relationships with Smithfield for years, and Smithfield is one of the big sponsors. Springer Mountain Farms is another big one. One of our close friends and a person that's helped us with this contest has a great relationship with Sunbelt Rental. We were able to get Power bartered as a sponsor, so we don't have that $35,000 bill for Power. There's a lot of things involved in a lot of variables and a lot of help from a lot of folks that want to see an event like this be successful.
Randall Bowman joining me here on the show, talking about the National Barbecue Cup. And I guess if it's okay, Randall, could I hold you over for another shorter side segment here?
Sure.
All right, so let me go ahead and talk to the folks about Big Poppa Smokers here, and then we'll come back and pick up the conversation, tie up a little National Barbecue Cup stuff, and then maybe we can talk about the smoker stuff too.
Sure.
All right, we'll do that here. Go ahead and stand by, Randall. We'll be right back with you. But first, let me talk to you folks about Big Poppa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue. The number one dealer of Mac pellet grills out there in the world today, Big Poppa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grills and smokers such as the Old Hickory Ace BP, the Gateway Drum Smoker, even a drum kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Poppa's has also made a name for itself recently by crafting award-winning lines of championship rubs. That's right, from flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending. Their rubs have had a hand in winning almost every major barbecue competition, period. Don't think that they can just be pigeonholed into competitive barbecue either, no. BPS rubs have become so well known, they have been picked up by a nationwide restaurant chain, BJ's Restaurant and Brewhouse. With 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured on their permanent menu, and amid glowing reviews, BPS rubs are proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry. They've also banded together with fellow California-based rub company called Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what is known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based rub makers have cornered the market and begun to redefine what the folks on the competition circuit, flavor profile-wise, are looking to aim for. BPS also features a wide selection of meat in the meat locker. Top quality meats from Snake River Farms, shipped right to your door. American Kobe beef, the Curb Buddha pork, Double R ranch meats. Big Poppa's has something for every type of barbecue aficionado. Also, they have created a unique brand ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind, they've been able to do all of this with only 6 years of being in business, turning competition barbecue on its head, providing customers with the very best barbecue products. becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. It's just the beginning for Big Poppa Smoke. The website, BigPoppaSmokers.com. That's BigPoppaSmokers.com. We're back with more Randall Bowman tying up National Barbecue I can't. Did it again. Get me off the air, folks. I can't stand the National Barbecue Cup and Deep South Smoke. Stick around. Be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966 is the phone number. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. If you have any questions for Randall or myself, give us a call, give us an email. You're down for taking a call or an email, right, Randall?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we're not shying away from anything here. So if you got something to say, step up, for crying out loud. What do we care?
That's right.
All right, wrapping up the National Barbecue Cup items, Randall, anything else you want to get out there to the consuming public or for perhaps a team that might be considering entering in their name to the foray?
Well, I mean, we welcome anybody. We would love to see teams come out and support this and make it successful. We're already working on 2017 at this point, even though we've not hit 2016 yet. But you can sign up all online on the website, which is www.nationalbbqcup.com. And there's a lot of exciting stuff planned. Nashville is an amazing city. The growth and everything in Nashville over the last few years has just turned it into a real hotbed for culinary and entertainment, and it's just a fun city anyway. So there's so many things to do outside of just coming for the Barbecue Cup that I would say you could have a blast there, cook a contest, and probably not want to go home.
No, let me tell you, for a business meeting, I once spent 3 days there. I don't remember 1 second of it. Oh, my God.
I believe that.
Oh, my Lord. I mean, there's bars there that are 3 and 4 stories. Downtown is an incredible city.
Yes, it is. It is. And Titan Stadium is literally a very short walk to all the bars downtown. The walking bridge that goes from downtown to Titan Stadium is going to drop off right in the parking lot where this event is.
NationalBBQCup.com is the website. We're talking with Randall Bowman. So let's transition out of the majesty of doing the competition stuff, Randall, and get into a little bit of the business, which is Deep South Smokers for you.
Sure.
When did you decide that a new smoker needed to be into the market? What were you seeing that was perhaps deficient or something that you wanted to offer people as a choice?
I'll be honest with you. I think any cooker that's been in production for more than a couple of years is obviously doing something right. So I don't want to take anything away from any manufacturer out there, because if you've got a business model that's worked for a couple of years, you're obviously got customers, you're successful. What I saw in the gravity-fed market was there were a lot of cookie cutter, more mass-produced type products. And I looked at, and all the compliments honestly go to Jamie Gear with Jambo Pits. I looked at the craftsmanship going into Jambos, and I thought, why is nobody doing this in a gravity-fed or any other type of cooker? I look at the quality of his product and just so impressed. Which is what we took into gravity feds. We are a hand built. Everything is automotive paint. It is in my view the Jambo of gravity feds, and I think most of our customers would probably agree with that. We've done a few technology changes on gravity feds to make ours heat a little more even and airflow a little better and things like that, but the number one selling point by far is the craftsmanship. They are They are built like a tank, and they look like a Ferrari.
What kind of product line do you have? How many different options? And kind of, I mean, obviously, at some point, everything probably becomes custom if you're that kind of guy. But what kind of price points are you looking at just kind of jumping in?
We go everywhere from a just shy of $2,700 and up from there. We do a lot of one-off stuff, which takes one of our production models and stretches it 2 inches or raises it 6 inches, or every we don't have standard paint colors. There is no black cookers on the floor, red cookers on the floor, or this color cooker on the floor. You pick out your paint color. It's all automotive paint. Everything is built to what you want, and it's customized to your standards. So it is yours when you get it. It's not, something that the 40 other people at the contest this weekend have.
For the folks that maybe aren't aware of what a gravity-fed cooker is, because we do have a little bit of a noob audience from time to time, maybe explain a little bit. You say Jambo, and if people go Google Jambo or they YouTube Jambo, it's an offset. It's a live fire, stick throwing type of situation, unless you cheap out and do the charcoal basket and you're lazy. But nevertheless, we're not saying anything about that here. When you go to gravity-fed, what are you looking at as far as if you can paint that visual picture?
Well, a gravity-fed is basically you've got a fire box on the side of the cook chamber that has a large chute that holds charcoal. And what happens is, because fire needs oxygen to burn, it can only escape through the cook chamber. So your fire is only burning in this area about 8 or 10 inches up into this chute of charcoal. So what will happen is your charcoal burns, it continues to refuel itself through that fresh charcoal that is stacked in that chute above it. Our cookers will run about 3/4 pound of charcoal to a pound of charcoal an hour, running at about 250 degrees. Our average size cooker will hold about 20 pounds of charcoal. A prime example is I can load up on a Friday night for a KCBS contest, and I will never put charcoal in it the rest of the weekend. I don't need to touch charcoal. We're a Guru dealer, so we try to push Gurus as well, because to me a perfect combination when you're spending $6,000 or $7,000 on a cooker that will run as efficient as ours is to take truly all the fire management issues out of it. To put a Guru on it, and if you set it at 250, it will stay at 250 and not move 1 degree as long as you've got charcoal in that chute.
In regards to the wood smoke, obviously the stick burner guys are throwing in wood to keep that fire going. What about for wood flavor on gravity fed? How do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of options for wood flavor. Natural lump charcoal instead of briquettes is a great method. There's guys that will mix wood chunks and wood chips into the charcoal. The easiest and most effective way, in my own personal opinion, is to put actual splits of wood into the ash box and allow hot coals to actually drop on those and smolder. We've been fortunate in the last couple of years to have garnered some attention from many of the top teams. Jim Berg with Killer Bees is cooking on a Deep South and has for the last couple of years. Richard Parker with Barbecue Superstore is. Donnie Bray. Tommy Houston has one. Tim Grant has one. The list just goes on and on. Rub with Swamp Boys has one. Mark Gibbs, Bob with Barbecue Guru, actually purchased another manufacturer's cooker with a new trailer this past year and cooked on it for a couple of months and called me and said, will you build me one? The trailer's great. I don't like the cooker. He came down and actually cooked the National Barbecue Cup in Cumming and picked up a new cooker and has been in love with it since. It just keeps growing and growing and growing as more guys cook on it. And Donnie is a funny guy because he went from a stick burner for a long time to backwoods for years, and now he jokes about not knowing what to do because he doesn't have to twist any knobs or add water or do anything other than just watch the temperature gauge, and it stays right where it's supposed to.
Randall, I mean, you're a guy that knows barbecue history. You've seen KCBS evolve over its 29, 30 years or whatever it is. Do you think that technology and the evolution of the cooker has taken, it's taken a lot away. Like, you don't really have to be a guy that knows fire management or knows how oxygen hits the logs and you're up all night throwing wood and all this stuff. Is that something that is gone forever? Is that something that you see some folks coming back to at some point? Or is this just the way it is because of how things evolve and technology increases?
I think it's a little bit of all that. I don't know that it will ever all go away because I have an offset we built. I still have at my home that I use once in a while just because I like doing things the old traditional way, and I think there's a lot of us like that. But as money gets increased in barbecue competitions and stakes become bigger and opportunities become bigger, I think you're looking for any slight advantage you can have to win. And if you can take fire management out of it, that's a giant variable that you can take out of it with a cooker. I think that a guy that's going to cook 40 or 50 weekends a year is going to jump on that opportunity every chance he gets. And that's not to say the guys. I mean, guys cooking on Jambos are extremely successful. They're a good cooker. And I'm not going to say it's the cooker because I think the person operating the smoker could probably be successful on anything they cooked on. I don't know that it's gone. I just think in competition barbecue you're going to start seeing technology take over. Anything that makes it easier, I think you're going to start seeing take over. And I think that's kind of the whole concept of what the guys that are cooking hot and fast now, because you're not managing a fire for 16 or 18 hours. You're managing it for 4 or 5.
Are you a hot and fast guy?
I am not. I am a low and slow guy, and just to be real straightforward, I can go to a contest, and if I want to go to bed at 9 o'clock on Friday, I can.
Right, because of the cooker, right?
That's exactly right. And I have played around with hot and fast, but I have to get up in the middle of the night, and to me, I can get I don't alter my regular week schedule on a weekend to go to a contest. My sleep schedule and everything stays the same.
From the competitor side of things, is there a model that you offer that seems to be most popular on the circuit right now?
Well, our most popular model is a GC28, and GC obviously stands for Grand Champion. And it's just the numbers coincide with the width of the cook chamber. So the 28 is 28 inches wide. It's designed to hold 2 steam pans because cooking in pans is now becoming a very popular method as well. Which again I think it's easy to clean. It's easy to transport meat back and forth from the cooker. I think it's another one of those things that has made competition barbecue easier for folks. So they're starting to adapt and use that method. And that's by far the most popular. Probably 70% of the cookers we sell are that model.
Randall, for the folks that want to check out the Deep South Smokers, what's the website?
www.deepsouthsmokers.com.
All right, easy enough, deepsouthsmokers.com. And also, if you're looking to get into the National Barbecue Cup at some point, nationalbbqcup.com is the place to go for that. Randall, really appreciate the time tonight, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
You got it. There he is, Randall Bowman, National Barbecue Cook. Are you kidding me? I said it again. Look, I'm not a believer in kismet or whatever it is, but for as many, I'm looking right at it, like right here on my screen, it says National Barbecue Cup, and all I'm saying is National Barbecue Cook. Here's the good news. I'm a businessman. So I'm going to reach out to Arlie Bragg, and we're breaking, well, hold on a second here.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
All right, folks, Greg Rempe reporting to you from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio. And because I've said National Barbecue Cook 57 times. Could I be more disrespectful? I don't think so. That being said, I will reach out to Arlie Bragg. We will bring the National Barbecue Cook to Cleveland, Ohio, baby. Yeah! There are zero, aside from the Burke Lakefront National Rib Cook-Off bullcrap that happens every year. I don't know if anybody else's city in America has more rib burn-offs than the greater Cleveland area. I have to doubt. I mean, every city has got a rib burn-off. The historic downtown Willoughby, Ohio, has like two. One in or beginning of summer, one at the end of summer. They have whiskey and pigs or whatever they call it. And then they have the rib cook-off in downtown Willoughby. Then they have the big Mark's Cook-Off down in Cleveland. Then the west side has one, and the northwest side has one. The far east side has. We are rib-eating mother effers here in Cleveland. If you don't got a rib cook-off here in Cleveland, get out of Cleveland. But there's no real barbecue contest in Cleveland. Never mind the fact that two of the most prolific barbecue restaurants in the country right now are located here in Cleveland. One, Mabel's Barbecue by Chef Michael Simon. And two, the Proper Pig Smokehouse in Lakewood, Ohio. Both opened within days of each other. By the way, if we're talking about barbecue restaurants that opened in Cleveland, and this show is based in Cleveland, and I follow both Michael Simon and Mabel's Barbecue and the Proper Pig, do you think for 1 second, as a guy who was hosting the most prolific, popular, most downloaded barbecue show on the face of the earth, could get a goddamn invitation to any one of these fuckers? No. Michael Simon, no. Proper Pig, no. Nobody's got nothing from me. Nobody. Cue the crying music, right? How is that? Mike and Amy Mills were in Cleveland for Mabel's soft opening a week ago. Mike and Amy Mills, I live in Cleveland. Hello? I'm right here, 10 minutes away from East 4th Street, which I love. I love East 4th Street. I love Pickwick and Frolic the most. I got nothing. It is beyond bizarre how a guy that is what are the chances that anybody has a barbecue talk show here in Cleveland? Zero. Here I am, the one that talks barbecue. No. The guy from Lockhart's gets the interview. Tim Holtz from Columbus gets an interview. Or he gets up there. What? I mean, Tim's the man. I live here.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You goddamn right. Nobody's got time for that. However, I've reached out to Daniel Vaughn and from Texas Barbecue Monthly, and I've said, don't come to Cleveland without giving me the heads up. I am going to take you to Mabel's. I'm going to take you to Proper Pig Smokehouse, Oak and Embers over in Chesterland. We're going to do a whole greater Cleveland, Ohio barbecue review. Just me and you. I'm going to pay for everything because I need the expenses. It's going to be awesome. So look for that. Plus, I have, as I said an hour ago or whatever it was, I have the new mobile recording station that I can actually hook like microphones up to. I can have 3 different microphones in this thing. I've put together an interview over the last couple days that I would never be able to do. This thing has freed me. I'm going to be going around the country making interviews. It's going to be great. Content is going to be coming in fast and furious. I'm going to have a special announcement next Tuesday that may or may not blow your mind. I haven't told anybody about it. But next Tuesday, top of the hour, the first edition of something new will have transpired. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to get you very excited because I'm very excited to be partnering with this guy. I knew at some point there was probably going to be a time where we would work together, and the time is now. We're trialing. And that's all I can say. No names, please. So let's go ahead and get out of this show before I ruin it for everybody else. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Fred Robles from Rio Valley Meats. He's qualified for the Jack Daniels. He has won 8 contests. It's great. It's great. Matt, dude, trust me. Just ask Jeff Eltzer. I'm a man of my word. We're going to do the beer segment. We're going to do it. I'm going to be in touch with you. Don't worry about it. We got it. Summertime's coming up. Everybody drinks beer in the summer. Nobody drinks beer in the winter, right? Nobody drinks beer in the winter. Then we talked to Steve Ray from Midnight Oil. He is on I-75, exit 11 on the northbound side. He's also the pitmaster of Owl's Nest Barbecue. He's got a busy competition season coming up, talking about trailer maintenance. And then in the second hour, we talked with Randall Bowman about the National Barbecue Cup. Breaking news, Arlie Bragg and I are going to be putting on the National Barbecue Cook here in Cleveland. And then in the second segment in the second hour, we talked about Deep South Smokers. His websites, by the way, deepsouthsmokers.com, nationalbbqcup.com. Check them out. We got a great show already planned for next Tuesday. Until then, let me tell you one thing. September 11th, 2001, I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.